Good evening, this is Eugene Chan, and I have the great pleasure of hosting this 400th show of Straight Talk. We have a new background and music theme to mark this milestone, but more importantly, our Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee, is marking the start of a new chapter for Hong Kong with his maiden policy address. I'm sure many viewers are looking forward to him sharing this with us this evening. Welcome, CE.
Eugene, thank you for having me here.
Right, CE, your maiden policy address last Wednesday has certainly reassured Hong Kong people that your first 100 days is definitely hard work. I believe you took a record of 2 hours, 45 minutes to deliver it in 150 paragraphs and 84 pages. It had nearly 600 initiatives in social, political, and economics, and tried to improve the people's livelihood in Hong Kong and, of course, the economy, and has been endorsed by the Hong Kong Macau Affairs Office for truly and accurately implementing the one country, two systems policy, as well as the liaison office, saying that you have followed the guidance of 4 months and 4 points of hope proposed by President Xi when he was here in July. Many have said your initiatives are groundbreaking and innovative, and you have tried to solve our long-standing problem of housing shortage and manpower crunch, and you have over 110 key performance indicators. So the title of your policy address is to build a better tomorrow for Hong Kong. And one issue that we have talked about in Straight Talk recently is about the manpower crunch. And you talk about grabbing and trawling our talents. And can you tell us, what sort of unconventional measures have you tried to put in the policy of Hong Kong so that we get more talents coming to Hong Kong?
Well, there are quite a few, but before I go into the details, I must first of all thank for the opinions that have been offered me during the consultation process, and also the unity and the commitment of my team. The policy address is the product of teamwork, so I thank each one of my colleagues for being so committed, hardworking, and innovative as well, as you have described. There are some groundbreaking attempts. There are untraditional moves that we have decided to take. For example, we have created a Hong Kong Investment Corporation Limited. The purpose of this is to indicate that from now on, we have a policy of fostering, helping industries where we consider are of strategic or important values to the overall development of Hong Kong. Why is this important? Because I intend to get most benefits in the shortest period of time for Hong Kong. That means things should be focused. That means things should be done so as to achieve the best result using the minimum time and the minimum resources. So that's number one. The second thing is we are very proactive now. We go out, knock on people's door, invite them to come, tell them how attractive, how many opportunities Hong Kong is available to you. We have been attractive for long. Pre-COVID, 3 years ago, we even, the government at that time even have to think of ways to lay down quite strict measures, such as you can't stay in Hong Kong longer than a year after you have graduated because, well, we have to control the number of people. So we were like that. Now we decide that we have to be very active. So we go out, we knock on people's doors. So outside Hong Kong, we have offices in which we'll have teams that will go out proactively to tell people. And in Hong Kong, we'll have a talent service unit to also give help and also design tailor-made plans for some talents and also some enterprises which we think are of significant importance, significant contribution to Hong Kong.
Right, see, I think all the viewers and I will feel that your passion to try to attract the talents coming to Hong Kong. But in the last few shows, we have been talking about, we have firms and expatriates leaving Hong Kong. And one of the main reasons is about our anti-epidemic measures. So now we are, since your term of government, we are now having 0+3, which gave me the opportunity to go out last weekend, and I really enjoyed coming back. However, for a lot of overseas people, if they do get positive, they will be kind of stuck here for 7 days. So would that be attractive to people to come to, at least to come and have a look at Hong Kong?
This is only a very short-term view. For anybody who really decide to come to Hong Kong and settle, which is my aim, they don't look at 3 months or 6 months. They look at really long term. This anti-COVID measures, of course, now we have a difference with other places. But my direction has been very clear. The goal has been set, but it's a matter of time when we will reach that goal. I think I've said that many times.
Yes.
So there's a roadmap. But present science, unfortunately, cannot have very precise predictions as what risk may happen at what time, how big that risk can be. So I have to design my whole strategy so that I don't roll back. Because I want the message to be very clear. And I hope I will reinforce that by telling you now and telling everybody. That's the direction, very clear. We are heading north, we're heading south, very clear.
Right.
Only one direction. Okay, the second thing is, when people think of coming to Hong Kong, they don't think of just coming here for 6 months. They think of developing here, having the opportunities here, allowing them to realize their dreams. They want their families to come here as well. All the measures I design is for that. And I do believe that people who want to come to Hong Kong, they are looking at Hong Kong as a place where they will realize their dreams. And they, of course, know very well their dreams won't be realized within 3 months. So there are a lot of attractions for Hong Kong. We used to be very attractive, and we will continue to be like that because these attractive elements are inside of us.
Right.
This is Hong Kong's DNA. Plus, we are adding new nutrition, fresh airs. We have been made the very clear position of 8 centers stationed at this strategic location to attract people. Financial center, trading center, shipping center, I don't have to mention that. More importantly, the new fresh air, the new soil, IT center, IT hub. IT is the future of Hong Kong. Everybody knows it. Without IT, you are doomed to fail. So we are heading in that direction, and it's very clear. And quality of life will be improved because Hong Kong will become what? Cultural and arts exchange center, melting pot of all culture. Lovely place, full of vibrance. Do you want to live in a boring place where after 8 o'clock you don't know where to go? Of course you love Hong Kong.
Right. See, I fully agree with what you said. I'm sure the viewers would agree. However, if you look at other cities, other places in the rest of the world right now, basically the anti-pandemic measures is basically zero. So people are starting to get back to normal lives and all that. And once they settle, sometimes it's very hard for them to take out suitcases and come to Hong Kong again. So what will you do in the short term to tell the people such a good story that you're making right now?
Well, obviously, I know the importance of making people realize that Hong Kong is the place to be, the place to come, the place to live, the place to work. That is why I'm making tailor-made plans for activities to happen in Hong Kong, even though we haven't reached the final goal yet. So we will have big events such as the Financial Leaders Summit. We have the Rugby 7, and we have a lot of significant international events happening in Hong Kong.
Right. So in other words, in your policy address, you think you have done a lot in there to boost our city's competitiveness? Absolutely.
And of course, there will be more. More by those involved in the exercise. Oh, it relies on you, me, my official, everybody of Hong Kong to go out and tell the world. Because it's a matter of telling people the real good story of Hong Kong. And that will make people know that, okay, I realize you are that attractive. And also I've added new elements. It's not just asking you to go out. For example, in attracting talents, I have created new measures, new systems. So those who are top 100 university graduates, they can come anytime, right? Provided they have working experience. And also the top earners, those who earn 2.5 million a year, they come anytime. But at the same time, I'm protecting the local employment. So I have measures to ensure that some quota is put in some areas. So, and also I ensure that a review will be done 1 year after the new measure so that I can be sure that the right balance is attained. And also I can make adjustments so as to make it even more attractive, and also to control the balance in a way that will be in favor of Hong Kong's real situation.
Right. See, just now earlier in the show, you mentioned the Hong Kong Investment Corporation Limited. That's what you referred to. So can you tell us what is the rationale behind? Because Hong Kong government has always been trying not to interfere with the market. They let the market forces at play. So is this some form of sort of time attack from Singapore that they used to do? Is it similar to that?
Well, my intention of setting up this fund is twofold. First of all, it is to tell everybody that this is a government which will lead. I think that is a very important message. First, we will lead in areas we believe will be of benefit to Hong Kong. We are not a laissez-faire, sit-back government. And the second thing is we have a policy for helping some industries. That is also important. That is to let people know where they can capitalize on the opportunities offered by Hong Kong. IT is the area, I've told them that. Not just IT. What I intend to attract are the leading performers in their respective field. So if in the electronic field, you are one of the top, say, 50, then of course we'll be happy to invite you here to tailor-make special plans for you. The intention and purpose is to let people know that Hong Kong is the place to be,
right,
the place to develop.
Right, so we have to take a break now, but viewers, please stay with us and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Our Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee, has been sharing his new vision for Hong Kong and how his administration will deliver a brighter tomorrow for our city. So see, in the first part, we talk about your desire to draw talents, and you felt Hong Kong has a great story to tell. Let's move on to an area that everybody has been wondering and has been haunting Hong Kong for decades, is the housing issue. Some said your initiatives are innovative and groundbreaking again, especially I'm referring to the novel light public housing scheme. So since not many viewers who are fully familiarized with it, maybe you can tell us what exactly is it and what are the advantages compared to, say, the transitional housing?
Yeah, the main aim of this light public housing is to fill the gap. Because at the present moment, despite the fact that we have sufficient land to build our predicted number of public housing, the distribution is uneven. The first 5 years is only 1/3. Then the second 5 years is 2/3. In other words, the second 5 years can produce almost doubly as the first 5 years. So theoretically, these demands will be met in 10 years. But that means those in the first 5 years have to wait for a long time. Mm-hmm. The longer has been 6 years, which is undesirable. In my manifesto, I have said that, well, I need to find a way to allow them to move up to a public housing ASAP. This is the initial idea, and I thank my team sincerely when I was in office and I proposed this, and they said, okay, moving it forward for them to move in so that before their full facilities, yes, it's possible, but we maybe only do about 12,000, because realistically, all the work has started, so the building plan has been fixed. Even with make adjustments, the most we can do is 12,000, and they can only benefit by shortening perhaps 3 months to 18 months. I said, that is still good, but I want it even more. I want to do more. Come on, they're all waiting there for such a long time, and the condition has been so bad. And I was there seeing them, so I was so determined, and I thank my officers. They really went all the way, all the possibility. And they had this idea of, first of all, finding the land, ensuring all the building processes will speed up, maintain a good standard, which is far better than all these undesirable conditions, and also to make it a very livable place, at least relative to the public housing. So the idea then comes is using MICs, which are modulated integrated constructions. It has been used before in some of our discipline service quarters. And those occupiers, they clap their hands because the standard is good. So the idea is we find temporary sites, but these temporary sites should allow generally the occupants to live, say, for 5 years. Why 5 years? Because 5 years is the dividing line between the first 5 years and the second 5 years. The second 5 years will be able to double the production. So we want them to be usable for 5 years so that the occupants won't have to move again, because then the supply will be double. That is the idea. And also, it's not just fast. We're in control. So instead of usually it takes about 4 years to build a public housing estate, it will probably take us half the time. So we can produce quite confidently in 2 years' time the first site for light public housing.
Since it's so encouraging, have you considered even plan more sites? I mean, with 3-4 times of what we have, then a lot of the problem will be solved.
Sure. We haven't stopped at this, but that is something we are very confident of doing. And we're telling people that, well, at least that's the goal I've set for my government. That means you can reduce from 6 years to 4.5.
Right.
So it's 1.5 years shorter. To them, 1.5 days shorter is already a very good thing.
Right, see, 1.5 years, actually it's 1 quarter, is quite a big amount. Are you confident this will be delivered?
I am confident because I have told you what we are doing, and this is fact. It's all fact, because we have already identified quite a few sites which belongs to the government, waiting to be developed, so that site will allow us to use probably for 3 to 5 or even longer years, right, depending on particular location. And of course, I will be inviting assistance from private developers if they are willing to help society, and I think a lot of them have a lot of social responsibilities. So maybe I get assistance from private developers who will lend society to us. Then of course we can build more.
Right.
But I'm very confident we can produce 30,000 within 5 years.
Right. See, also you know that in Hong Kong we have over 600,000 owners of private housing, and the market recently has softened because of possible increased interest rate, a downturn in economy, and we know that we need a healthy housing market to sustain our economy. But in your manifesto or in your policy address, you will be also increasing housing for the private sector as well for the next 5 years. Will this put added pressure onto the housing market? That means we won't have a stable environment for everybody to live in Hong Kong.
Well, the policy for private housing is to have a steady supply. Have a supply which will ensure there will be sufficient for people to take up. We have already got sufficient land, more than this predicted demand. So the supply is in the control of the government. But we want the supplies to be steady, because I fully appreciate that prices for housing, they are a sensitive subject. But what government needs to do is to ensure that will not be very big frustrations. Right. Because anything that is of a big scale, then people can't plan.
Yes.
And then it gets out of their comfortable margin or safety margin.
See, did I hear that your plan is to have a sort of minimal fluctuation, very steady private housing market, if you wish?
I want to have a steady supply so people know where they are, they can plan. I think that's important. That is for buyers to plan, for developers to plan. And then that is important. They know that, well, there will be this supply, and we'll be making it transparent. And that is what we want to do.
Right. The reason why I bring that up is for so many years, people were haunted by the negative equity issue that we had before. So that's a reason why people, when you come here, they want me to ask you to making sure your policy is going to be a healthy, sort of predictable environment.
We are monitoring the situation very closely,
right,
daily.
Oh, good.
And we know how important this issue is to different sectors of the community. For those who own property, for those who are waiting to own property, for those who want to invest, for those who really have a need to live.
Right.
So we know the importance, and Financial Secretary and I are watching it closely every day.
See, your policy address also focus on the development of the emerging industries, and you're setting up a 10 billion research academic and industry sector 1+ scheme. What exactly is that? I mean, how is that going to help the emerging industries?
That is really to build a very healthy and complete ecosystem for IT development. Hong Kong has been very good on basic research, and the success have been rated outstanding. At least 70% fit that category. So we have very strong basic research because we have very good universities, we have very good research experts. But it is also very important to ensure that the research product really becomes a prototype that can eventually be used in the market so as to create a whole chain of production for the product. That is how you develop IT. Because what we want is to be able to let people to have innovative projects that eventually will materialize into something concrete for society, for everybody to enjoy. So the research people will be happy, our capability in this area will be strong, and there is a marketization, is commercialization process for it. And that will mean a lot of good things to Hong Kong, because it will mean jobs. It will mean this whole ecosystem being so healthy that this industry will be very prosperous,
right,
attracting talents and attracting new enterprises.
Right. See, I'm going to ask you the last question. In the last few years, you know, a lot of people have left Hong Kong because of various reasons, and hopefully they will come back one day. However, the society is kind of divided at the moment. And you being somebody who have worked with the disciplinary forces, you've been with the government, now you're being CE. What will be your plans? How are you going to unite all of us together to help you so that we can deliver such a good policy address so Hong Kong people can be very happy?
Share one single mission. Make Hong Kong the home we all love. That means we may have disagreements, differences, but focus on what we agree commonly. That is for the overall good of Hong Kong, for the overall good of the family.
Right. Thank you, Mr. John Lee, for sharing your policy address with our viewers. I'm sure we all look forward to seeing your policies come to fruition in the near future. We hope the new government to continue to garner support of the wider community to start a new and bright chapter for Hong Kong. Have a pleasant evening and good night.